Before you scroll away, let me ask you something personal. What if everything you knew, everyone you loved, and every plan you made all fell apart after the age of 60? Would you believe me if I told you that might just be the beginning of the best chapter of your life? This isn't a fairy tale. It's my life, and maybe it's the story you need to hear right now. So don't scroll, don't click away, because I'm about to show you how hitting rock bottom at 60 helped me build a life I never imagined possible. My name is Evelyn, and this is the true story of how I lost everything and finally found myself. I remember the silence most of all. It was a Tuesday morning. Quiet. The kind of quiet that makes your skin itch, like the world has forgotten you're still here. I sat at the kitchen table staring at the steam rising from my coffee. No job, no husband, no children in the house, just me and a stack of unpaid bills, and a birthday card from my sister that read, 60 looks good on you. I didn't feel good. I felt like a failure. My name is Evelyn, and at 60, I had to start over completely, alone. But I want to tell you this. Starting over saved me. It was messy, painful, terrifying, but it brought me back to life. Let me take you through it. My husband left me 3 months after I turned 59. 27 years of marriage, gone in a single evening when he sat down across from me and said he didn't love me anymore. No drama, no yelling, just facts. He had someone else. She was 38. The betrayal stung. But what hurt more was the numbness that followed. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just packed a bag like a ghost of myself. I moved out of our home because he could afford the mortgage. I couldn't. My savings were tied up in joint accounts. Legal battles drained the rest. I ended up in a small one-bedroom apartment on the edge of town. I ate canned soup. I canceled my internet. I wore a winter coat indoors because the heating bill was too high. I applied for jobs. No one wanted to hire someone who hadn't worked since 1995. My self-esteem was shredded. I avoided mirrors. I avoided friends. I avoided myself. One night, I walked 4 blocks in the rain to return bottles for cash. I slipped, fell, and sprained my wrist. Lying on the cold pavement, soaked and shaking, I realized something had to change, or I wouldn't survive. A week later, I got a call from my old college roommate, Darlene. She'd seen my name on Facebook, a post I barely remembered writing. She asked, "Are you okay?" I lied. She knew I was lying. She said, "Come visit me, just for a weekend." I said yes because I had nothing else to lose. That weekend changed everything. Darlene was 61, divorced, and thriving. She lived in a small artsy town in Oregon, ran a bookstore, and taught yoga to seniors. She had lines around her eyes but fire in her spirit. I watched her move through life like she owned it. She didn't care about wrinkles or waistlines. She cared about joy, community, purpose. She introduced me to people who hugged like family, even though we'd just met. She handed me a brush and said, "Paint something that scares you. You need to stop surviving," she told me. "You need to start living." When I returned home, the silence felt heavier. But this time, I didn't surrender to it. I said yes to one small thing. I went to a free painting class at the library. I hadn't painted in 40 years. My brush shook. My hands were clumsy. But by the end of the class, I was smiling. I came back the next week. Then I found a part-time job as a receptionist at a local non-profit. The pay was terrible. The people were kind. And slowly the layers began to peel back. Then, a twist. My ex-husband had a stroke. His new partner left him within a week. Suddenly, his friends and family were calling me. They assumed I would step in and help, I struggled with guilt, anger, and a strange compassion I didn't expect. I visited him in the hospital. He could barely speak. He cried when he saw me. I didn't move back in. I didn't give up my new life, but I forgave him. Not for him, for me. That forgiveness was my second yes. Starting over isn't magical. I cried. A lot. I dealt with panic, attacks. I made mistakes. I dated a man who ghosted me after 2 months. He said I was too emotional. I found a lump in my breast. It turned out benign, but I lost sleep for weeks. I struggled with imposter syndrome every day at work, thinking someone younger would do it better. Then one day I snapped at a young co-worker. Her name was Alicia, 26, full of life. I accused her of ignoring my suggestions in a meeting. She came to me later and said, "Evelyn, you matter. You don't have to fight me to prove that." We ended up crying and hugging in the break room. I went to therapy. I wrote letters I never sent. I forgave myself for the woman I used to be. I stopped shrinking to fit spaces that were too small for me. I turned 62 in Italy. Yes, Italy. I saved for 2 years, took a cheap flight, stayed in hostels with 20-year-olds, ate too much pasta. I laughed like a teenager. I flirted with a retired professor named Marco who spoke 4 words of English. I learned how to say, "I am happy," in Italian. Sono felice. I hiked the Cinque Terre trails with aching knees and a joyful heart. I danced alone under the stars in Florence. Then a surprise. Marco visited me in the States. He stayed for 2 weeks. We explored national parks. We cooked together. We argued in half English and full emotion. We didn't fall in love, but we fell into life, and that was enough. I started volunteering at a hospice center. I held the hands of people in their last hours. I heard stories from those who wished they'd taken more risks, spoken more love, danced in the rain. I started writing a book. It's called Late Blooms Still Bloom. I moved into a cozy cottage with yellow curtains and a tiny porch garden. My neighbors call it the Happy House. I host monthly dinners for women over 50. We call it the Phoenix Club. We laugh, we cry, we celebrate each other. Then came the letter from my estranged daughter. We hadn't spoken in years. Too many arguments, too much pride. She wrote, "Mom, I saw your blog. I'm proud of you. I want to talk." We met at a cafe. Her hair had gone gray at the temples. She had 2 kids. She said, "You're not the same woman." I said, "Neither are you." We hugged. You are never too old to begin again. Pain is not punishment. It's a passage. No one is coming to save you, but you can save yourself. Your story doesn't end at divorce, or job loss, or 60. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to live loudly. You are the author of your next chapter. Your wrinkles are roadmaps. Your scars are survival. Never let the world shame you for rising. Forgiveness is a superpower. Use it wisely. Love may not come how you expect, but life will always surprise you. If you're over 50, over 60, or even over 70, and feel like your life is over, I want you to know that silence you're sitting in, it's not your ending. It's the space before the music starts again. So go on. Say yes to something. Paint, travel, laugh, fall in love with your life again, because you're not broken. You're becoming. And becoming is always beautiful. The only permission you need is your own. This is not the end. This is your reinvention.